I thought, since I'm a computer scientist, I have to do something different, right? So I'm going to use two screens here, so only that screen has my slides. Let's see if it works. Okay, so we're talking about data sharing, modeling, tools, all of that. To us computer scientists, it's zeros and ones, and you have your code runs on the computer. So what's so complicated about that? Whenever we start dealing with data, it becomes very, very complex because data to everybody, it's very different. And you need a lot of things in order to deal with data. So what I like to do is to start with an example of typically how you, when you need to access data, what you need to do, and then show you what we have done in HUBZero to make it a little bit easier. So in this case, a lot of you, I think, knows better than me about the ACMIC data archive, which is the result of these inter-comparison projects running a lot of models and generate outputs for various variables. So, so this data archive has been publicly available. It's been served through this tool called Globus Online. So you need to know Globus Online. You need to know how to set up endpoints. So if you look at you know, some of the labels here, it kind of shows you where the endpoint is. And obviously, there's a lot of folders. And you drive in there, and you go to another layer, and you can see the path here. Just watch the path here. It gets. So these are how you select. I'm not going to do a demo. I just want to bring up the concept. And there are ways you can aggregate it with regional maps or other maps, and then eventually come to this place where you can get the data and create maps and display them right there. So all of this is done in your browser. And you can, if you're busy, you can't wait, you can say, well, keep it for later. So, so just to contrast that, how we would do it in the HUBZero. So what is HUBZero? How many people have heard about HUBZero? Raise your hand. Okay, a lot of you, so I can skip all the intro stuff. Okay, so HUBZero, so this is a snapshot, just a chart to show the main features of HUBZero. You got simulation tools, computational tools, and recently there's online databases added to handle spreadsheet type of data. And we're also dealing with geospatial data layers. And then there are a lot of functionalities for collaboration, in which I'll go a little bit into details. And then Purdue and some other groups like the Nanotechnology Network Center, they're using heavily using HUBZero for learning, for teaching. And just to give you an idea, who's using it, up on the top you can see some of the big NSF projects are using, and there are also partnerships with industry and with educational communities that are using HUBZero. And then right now, because HUBZero is released as open source, so people can download it and run a HUBZero site on their own. So we probably don't know all the HUBZero sites that are running, and the ones we do know, they add up to about more than 60 right now. And you can see in terms of a user community right there. And here's a picture, just show you it's being used by global community. That number 27, I think it means the number of HUBZero sites that are being hosted at Purdue. So Purdue actually has a group of about 30 professionals running these things as production systems. Okay, so really what HUBZero represents, like Tom alluded to earlier, is the ability to collaborate. And these are all the characteristics of how people collaborate. And what I like to do is to highlight a few things, because to do a full tutorial, that'll take probably an hour or two. And I like to do a few things to highlight the things that are really very powerful on a HUBZero platform. The first one is HUBZero, they make their name from hosting these, what we call live tools. Basically, these are interactive tools that you can use right off your browser. And on the back end, it may be running on supercomputers, either on Purdue campus or at national centers. You wouldn't know. You wouldn't need to know. And also, the other powerful support on HUBZero is the tool development. By tool, we mean simulation, models, anything that you write computer programs to run on a computer. So those we just call them tools. And there is a automated process, guided process for anybody to go into a hub and start developing the tool, testing, and going through the entire life cycle of the tool, including engaging your users and supporting them. So I can show you sort of a snapshot of what that looks like. And as far as collaborations, most of the projects, people need a virtual place for people to meet, to share things. And so on HUBZero, those things are, there's a group feature. You can create your own group and projects and so on. And then I also want to highlight these HUBZero sites, how you can measure your impact. There are different ways of measuring. One major feature is that usage data, a lot of usage data is being collected by each of the hubs, and you can see them, and users can see them too. So it's very, very transparent. The other thing I'd like to mention is that Purdue has a very long tradition of computing. And so this is a chart that shows, right now we're running 5 large computer clusters. The latest one is named Conte, which has the latest Intel processors and accelerators. And also, I didn't do that right. And also, we're used to handling the tremendous growth in terms of data usage. So you can see on this chart that the data usage for top 50 users at Purdue, and it has grown tremendously in the last 2 years, and as well as archival data. So these are things just to show that not only we have the front end, we can also supply with a lot of power on the back end. Let me see, I'll run through. So these are some of the examples that work that we have done, and you can some people may recognize that with, and then there are some other projects that we were putting layers of drought maps with land use data, and then also doing calculations on the back end to produce the drought impact data. And so all these, and this is a SWOT model portal that allows people to share their input models. So the highlighted areas means that those somebody already run the model there, and you don't have to recreate the input, and you can use it and tweak it, and so on. So all these things led to this new project that we're working on. So basically, the goal is to make it easy, and make it available online, so you can do these things anywhere when you travel, when you work with collaborators, and so on. Let's see. So some of the goals are we want to allow people to put in let's see, I can't see it here. So we want to provide the data services for accessing and processing geospatial data, and we also want to let other people, so all those screens you saw earlier, we, as a group of developers, we know how to do those things, but we want scientists without that kind of expertise to be able to create tools like those. So therefore, we're going to create a rapid development toolkit, which HUBZero has one right now, but it doesn't have geospatial support. So that's the part we're going to add to it. And there's also a tool builder where you can drag and drop. For example, you can say, you know, I have a data set I want to share, but I want to put this on a map, and just make things like that really easy for people. And also, all of that will be open source when it's released. I'm going to skip that. And obviously, we have a lot of challenges. During lunch, we also talked about really how do you string things together, models, data sets, databases, and that's really a tremendous challenge. And I'm hoping that through today and next 2 days, my group will be able to get some insights from you, from the discussions as to what's really important to do, because we have limited resources. We really want to aim at things that are important.